All right, we are live. Just want to quickly send this in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and update you guys as to what's going on in the markets today. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna move this over to the other monitor so I can see your chat come in. Let me just mute some stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I didn't plan on doing another one today, but here we are. Hey, Chris, welcome. But yeah, like I said, I mean, these are gonna be spontaneous, but I figured, you know, I'm leaving for vacation later today or later in the week, and then it just kind of makes sense to kind of do a live, at least with the current moveset. A lot of you guys are going to be wondering, where exactly are we looking for, you know, Bitcoin, and what exactly happened. So before I get into the stream, for those of you that are new to the stream, like I said, you guys are welcome to post anything in the chat that you want me to go over, any chart, any sort of, you know, support, resistance, anything you're confused of, I will gladly go over it. We're going to go in numerical order, so whoever posts first kind of gets it as we go. So yeah, so what exactly happened on Bitcoin? Now, looking at the 4-hour time frame, yesterday I talked about, or well, over the weekend rather, I talked about this V-shaped formation, right? A lot of people were, you know, very bearish on Bitcoin, mostly at the current levels down here. This was a very nice trade opportunity, and I mean, Bitcoin excluded. Let's just talk about Ethereum for a second, because I'll start with Ethereum, then we'll go back to Bitcoin, because I do want to talk about Ethereum specifically. But looking at Ethereum's V-shaped formation, it was pretty fun yesterday on the live stream, or 2 days ago rather, but we actually entered a long position on Ethereum, and a lot of you guys were there for that, and it was right at this level specifically. I'll go ahead and draw my horizontal ray so you guys can see. Yeah, it was right at this level of a breakout trade, and I'll show you guys exactly what happened. So we were trading on the hourly time frame, waiting for the breakout formation. You can see that Ethereum on the hourly tested this level twice. This was the third test opportunity, and we were expecting a short squeeze. Now, personally, I was expecting a short squeeze all the way over to around 1518. I wasn't really expecting a short squeeze, I mean, surprisingly, all the way up here, but I'll go ahead and show you guys a few things, of course. Number one, looking at Ethereum, a lot of people got trapped, I think, at this level right here at 1612. Psychologically, like, you know, a lot of traders, what they thought was, oh, you know, hey, looking at the 4-hour time frame, this was a very nice trade opportunity. We see the bearish engulfing candle on the daily resistance. Everyone starts to short it because they're like, yep, this is really overbought. We're all going to enter a position, and look what happened. Immediately after, all those trades got short squeezed again, right? And this is going to continue happening, in my opinion, now that we are entering a very crucial range. I'm not looking for shorting opportunities, guys, and I've said that before, like pretty much for the past 48 hours, I've only been sending buy orders to you, right? And the reason why is, looking at the 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that we are using this level as support, right? This 1612 major resistance has now turned into support. And of course, the argument of, yeah, it's a bull trap, and I'll go ahead and explain that to you as well, but there are a few things that we have to keep in mind. Moving to Bitcoin's chart, I mentioned that, you know, yesterday we were seeing Ethereum have a short squeeze, but Bitcoin was lagging behind. And for those of you that were in the live session last time, I believe it was right around this level here at 22.8. We saw Ethereum break above, Bitcoin was lagging behind. And I mentioned that the next take profit level as well in Telegram was 23.6. The reason I mentioned that was because this is where the move set started, right? This is where we saw the breakdown formation, and this was going to be the bullish target. As soon as we saw that break above, we continued squeezing, and as of right now, we are looking to retest 25.2 once again. Now, talking about 25.2, you'll notice that we've already tested this level once back here and the second time. This is the third time, and this is the issue. In terms of a bull trap, or in order to classify as a bull trap, the first time I didn't have the channel back then, but I shorted this move, right? If you go through my charts, you'll see I made a chart about this and we shorted it. The second time, we were waiting for a breakout. We didn't see it happen. And now this is the third retest. On the third retest, I wouldn't consider this a bull trap rather. Instead, I would consider this a much larger short squeeze. The reason I say that is because zooming out of Bitcoin's chart, we've been consolidating in between this 15 to 23K range for a long time, guys. Since June, we've been consolidating within this range. Could we be looking for a possible retest to 29,000, grabbing that liquidity, and then creating a new lower low? That is the main question for today, right? And looking at the 4-hour time frame as of right now, the reason why a lot of people are mentioning the 30K range, 33K range is because they're looking at the resistance level. Me personally, I look at the support level because you guys know old support becomes new resistance. That's why I'm looking at the current state at 29.2 for a possible shorting opportunity, assuming Bitcoin continues to rally all the way up there, right? If we don't get a stronger pullback and we just continue ripping these green candles upwards, then yes, I would consider it the same exact moveset we saw over here. Once we break into that range, I would not be surprised to actually see 25.2 acting as another consolidation like this, and then a much stronger continuation to the downside. Of course, if we break the 30K range, that psychologically will change a lot for a lot of retail investors, which we have to keep in mind. Guys, we've been shorting Bitcoin from all the way up here at around 30,000. We've been playing around with this range for months, right? You guys know me, 90% of the trades I send are all shorts. I barely enter a long position. The only time, or well, the only reason recently we started looking for buy positions was because everyone was bearish. Everyone on YouTube is sitting there saying, yep, we're going to 9,000, we're going to 8,000. This is the end, capitulation. The largest bank in America is going under. Like, who cares, right? At the end of the day, like, that's what it never makes sense to me is when there's so much bias towards something, the market does opposite of what everyone thinks. And this was the perfect example for you guys. I was probably the only one sitting there telling you guys, hey, yes, it's looking pretty bearish, but unless we break below 1421 ETH, we are not bearish. There's no reason to be because we still have scenario A. And I talked about scenario A so many times. Scenario A was 1421 all the way to 1787 and then Rex City. Now, again, if you look at the chart over here, you'll notice that the current price action is completely different than what we are seeing now versus back then. This was a lot healthier, right? We have a range break, uses support, break, uses support, break. The price action we're seeing right now is not healthy. Like, this is not something that's really sustainable, right? Look, it's just straight green candles towards the upside. Of course, with news and everything happening, right? People are saying this is what Bitcoin's purpose was and this is why Bitcoin was created, which is a great argument. Yes, this is the first time where we're seeing US banking, or well, rather stocks, completely crashed today and Bitcoin was booming, right? But there's two sides to it. Yes, we have the narrative of the US banking, but we also have a short squeeze, right? There were just way too many shorts laddered within these ranges. And you guys can see a perfect example of this. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. A perfect example of this at this range right here, right? We can see what? At this support right here, a lot of shorts entered, and this is what we call a short squeeze. These green candles, they don't just happen magically, right? We broke above a major resistance. Even here, the argument could have been, yeah, that should have been the take profit level. Why did we see such a large wick all the way to 24.6? It's because there were so many shorts laddering into this position, they got wrecked, right? And now guess what's going to happen? All of the traders are now going to be looking to enter shorts once again at this level. What do you think is going to happen, guys? It's going to squeeze again to 25.2, and that's when you see the wick to the downside. That's the ideal range, what I'm looking for, a wick like this, move set, and then continuation. That's from a bullish case scenario. Now, a lot of you guys, mentioned that you guys got wrecked in terms of trading today. And to be fair, this isn't a market that's easy to trade currently because one day, we're down 30%. The next day, we're up 30%. And it's just the reality of the market is because, we're in a consolidation zone. The move sets are a lot higher And you don't want to be caught within the wrong range, which is why I always tell you guys to be careful, right? When you're trading these position sizings, set your stop losses. Even if you're in a position that's profiting. You guys saw today, I sent like 2 profiting trades for both of them were like, I think 10-15%. And you guys saw like literally sent it, exited. And I was just scalping on the 1 hour chart just on these bullish candlesticks. Every time we started entering this range right here, I entered a buy, closed it. Immediately we saw the breakout, I would close, wait for it to pull back, then enter again on the squeeze. And that's all I did. The whole time today, that's all I did. I didn't send those trades because, of course, they're very risky. You guys know I always protect you guys. I don't want to see, yeah, we all got liquidated, right? And this is the market where a lot of people did get liquidated. So for now, if you guys are looking for positions, we're only looking for buy opportunities. Every pullback is a buy opportunity until we hit 25.2. Once we hit 25.2, then you can consider looking to either exit your positions or, of course, monitor closely and see how this range plays out. In my opinion, the fact that, you know, Bitcoin has tested this level now twice and we're coming for the 3rd time, that doesn't usually happen. We don't really see a resistance level if we're in a larger bearish trend towards the downside immediately get retested that many times, right? Usually when you have a range break, we have a break, pullback, continuation, now trend change. But again, I'm not saying that the bottom was in here at 15,000. I'm just saying this was a lot larger of a short squeeze, which a lot of people should have expected because of how bearish everyone was. Everyone was, right? It's not just one specific group of people. Like everyone I know, retail investors, everyone on Twitter, they were all saying, you know, we're going to capitulate. And the market tends to do opposite. I'm not saying that we might not go down to the range of 12,000, 11,000. It can definitely happen still. But first, a short squeeze is required. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Look at Bitcoin on the daily, right? We broke above our exponential moving averages with such a massive move. We don't need to see, of course, that rejection immediately. A lot of traders get confused. Now, I'm not personally, you know, perma bearish, perma bullish. I'm not that guy. I just read charts, right? That's all I do. If the bias changes and we break above the resistance of 29, then yes, things change at that level. And the reason I say that is look, zoomed out from this chart, we could be looking for a very large short squeeze and then a stronger continuation. But the overall bullish case scenario, in order for us to consider a bull run, would be right here around the $37,000 range. And the reason I say that is because this level specifically zoomed out in the chart had multiple confluence. If you look even in the previous bull run, it acted as a resistance. Once we broke through, acted as a support, broke through, retested support. Look where we capitulated and look where the bear market started. That's the level that personally I would be looking for a possible bull market, would remain up there. It's pretty far out, so we don't have to worry about it right now. All eyes remain at the current state of the market at 25,200. After that, if that level is broken, then we can assume we might be looking for a stronger pullback. But guys, I've taught you this so many times. Don't short into volume. I feel like everyone today that got wrecked was shorting into volume, right? And the problem is when you have such a narrative of the US stocks collapsing for banking, why would you short? Because everyone's going to be thinking the same thing. This is good. This is good for crypto. I need to get my hands on crypto, right? That's why I always tell you guys, wait until the move sets are over before you guys look for that short. The only reason we would be shorting today was if you were scalping. That's the only reason. And look at Ethereum, right? Now we're using the same level, the same previous resistance as 1658 now as support. What do you think is going to happen, guys? We're probably going to hit 1717. We might even break through it. That's the only reason why I would be looking at it. Yeah, Vikram, I get it. Like, I get it, you know, from that perspective. And Chris, like, you can check volume on this website. I've posted this many times before. I personally like it. And this is, yeah, okay. It's aggr.trade. It'll basically show you the liquidations and the order books coming through. So these are, of course, trades happening currently across all the exchanges. You'll see, so basically, let me explain this real quick. The trades to the right, where you see, you know, these are only 100,000 in leverage, only 100K buys are over. So you won't see any of the small fish, you'll only see the larger fish. And then you just zoom out. So you can see that we had a decent amount of volume today. Look at the volume that happened today, right? On this move set. That was a lot of volume coming into the market. So there wasn't a reason to short that, right? That's not a fake out trade. Fake out trades would happen if we saw this without volume, and it happens. But you'll see currently, you know, there are a ton of buy opportunities happening in the current market. And of course, we're consolidating after a large move. What happens after we consolidate after a large move? We create a new higher high. So for now, not a shorting position, just a waiting position. That's all it is. Hey, Jimmy, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to stop talking. Shallow pullback, then we get another move up. I would be very careful on the shallow pullback. And what I mean by that is even on the daily time frame, like it's hard to say because like the current range we're at is just we're nothing. Like we're just floating above. I wouldn't be surprised if within 30 minutes we see a breakthrough first and then a rejection like this, right? This wick right here, 1742, then we reject. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that. But currently, I don't know if we would, because I feel like we would have seen bearish volume come by now and reject this level, but we haven't. So it doesn't make sense currently. No, XV, I never scalp on the lower time frames, guys. When I say scalp, I'm talking hourly because I don't look at the lower time frames. Like it just doesn't, for me personally, I've never been profitable trading on 15 or 30 minutes. I know some people that do. Me, I just don't like it because again, they're so manipulated. It's just better to be looking at the hourly. Hourly is the lowest time frame. And you guys see even on my videos, hourly is the only time frame pretty much. Yeah, I'll post a AGGR trade in Telegram as well for you guys because I know some people are going to be curious. But yeah, like right now, I'm not entering a position. I've already made, you know, with this past week, guys, we've made a ton of money in Telegram. I don't want to give back to the market. I'm just enjoying it now, watching it rise, right? At this point, I'm okay. I'm happy to watch this thing rise. Yes, I can go over Cardano. So yeah, great time, guys. Now, if you want me to go over any chart, post it in the chat. Any chart, anything you want me to do, now is the time to ask. So talking about Cardano, I made a video about this, but we can go over Cardano as well. Right now, Cardano is looking at major resistance here at 34 cents. You know, we found a nice midterm support right here at 30 cents. Very nice support line. We were waiting for this range break over the weekend, which I kept warning about. If this level on the midterm breaks, then 28 cent will be our price target. Although we are seeing a breakout formation, this could easily just be a liquidity grab before continuing pushing lower. And I'll show you guys why. Zooming out on Cardano, we've been in this situation before. Look at this chart right here, right? You see Cardano hit that 30 cent range. This was a very nice trade though, right? Rarely you'll see something like this, where it hits exactly at that level, the next 4-hour candlestick, you'll bounce and break out. But in order for me to classify Cardano as somewhat of a local bottom, this would be the range I would first have to see break. 38 cents to 39 cents. If that range is broken, then we can assume that 30 cents was a, you know, somewhat local bottom. But this isn't the first time where Cardano has hit that range, bounced off, and then created a new lower low, which is why I'm personally not looking at altcoins. And I'm still not looking at altcoins, guys. If you're wondering, am I buying anything? I'm not, because it's not a time to be buying, right? Like, this is why I only trade ETH and Bitcoin. I only teach you guys in ETH and Bitcoin, because there's no reason why I'm looking at altcoins when dominance is so high. It doesn't make any sense. Blur, I can go over Blur. I'm not doing Floku Inu. I don't know why you keep asking. I'm not doing that chart. Okay, so we can do Blur. I think, yeah, Blur Tether. I've never analyzed Blur, if I'm being honest with you, but we can do Blur. It's such a new coin. It's going to be extremely hard to kind of analyze it. But I mean, there's not much, you know, it's a new token. Like, there's only so much we can work with, but I can go ahead and show you real quick my price targets for Blur. So this would have been my support zone here at 88 cents. Reason why, you see we bounced on this level. We have multiple wicks, retest for double bottom. Then we broke it. Then look at the area we retested. This is how I draw my support and resistance, right? I mean, obviously I have experience, so it's a lot easier for me to just look at the chart and place it right away. But for beginners, I would highly suggest you guys to kind of go and place your charts and look for areas where not only we have a support, but as well as an area of resistance, right? The same thing is what we're looking for. But currently on Blur right now, you can see that we do have somewhat of a midterm support level right here as well. And now new resistance. So Any break above 66 cents, use as support. Take profit level would be right here, 88. This is where the move set started. That's where the bullish case likely will be looking to end. So that would be your bullish target. From the bearish target, I mean, it's price discovery mode. So, I mean, it can go to zero. Like, you know what I mean? It's a new coin. But that's what we're looking at. And personally with Blur, like I trade NFTs quite a bit. Blur's airdrop system doesn't really make sense to me either, because, you know, when you're giving so many airdrops away and people are going to continue dumping them, it's like, what utility really is there to hold it other than the airdrops? Hopefully they change it, but that's just my opinion on Blur. Are there any charts that are really differing from Bitcoin? I mean, some altcoins, yes. Like, there are altcoins out there that will be looking a little bit different. Of course, you just have to hunt them. But you'll see that everything right now is in range break zone. Even Hbar. Like, man, this is probably my most proud moment for Hbar, where we literally talked about 0.057 hitting, and it hit perfectly. Like, guys, you don't understand the amount of hate I got in terms of those videos. At 0.08, everyone was like, nah, you're an idiot. It'll never happen. Keep dreaming. And it hit. And now they're all saying it's going to collapse. You know, the news articles, this and that. And, you know, wrecked. Like, they just got wrecked down here as well. They probably all sold and got wrecked. Right? That's my thing. It's like the opposite of what everyone else is thinking. And this isn't an emotional chart. You know, this is literally just look at my price action chart, right? It's so basic. And a lot of you guys have questioned it and say, where are your indicators? Where do you... It's a basic chart because that's all you need. So, sorry. You just need support, resistance, and your price action. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. I have RSI, but that's just, you know, that's just there. Overbought, oversold, don't care. Like, I don't trade this simply. But if it adds on to a confluence, then I'll add it in, right? So it works out. Yes, correct. MDB, that's correct. Yes. So when you're looking from AGGR trade, these are whale orders. So 300K, 208K. These are orders that are coming through the market. So yeah, there's big money to be moving around. Something to consider. But yeah, so I mean, if you guys have anything else you guys want me to go over, feel free to put in the chat. Any altcoin, anything you want, any questions rather. But yeah, I'm only looking for buy positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm not looking for any shorting right now. As juicy as this short looks, it's not worth it because this is the third test. And in all my years of trading, I have learned the hard way to never short the third test, or at least short once you hit that price target. Right? Because then your room to breathe is a lot better. Any breakout, you exit. You don't hold that position. But, like, in terms of psychology, like, let me show you guys real quick something that's cool. From a beginner perspective, if you're looking at this chart right now, everyone's probably thinking this is a good shorting opportunity, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, look, RSI is overbought, this. And let me teach you guys something. When you have a 4-hour time frame like this on Bitcoin and you have a major resistance that everyone is focusing on, and you can see we've tested that level multiple times, I would much rather be in the position leading into that resistance than be counter trading it, because 9 out of 10 times it will hit that level then reject. You can make money on the way upwards to that level, even if you're a bearish target. Hit that level and then go from there. So that's ideally what I would do. Sorry, my phone's just buzzing. Let me just mute that. But yeah, but that's ideally where I would go with that. So once it hits that target, then you look for that short. Otherwise, there's no reason to be looking for that short, if that makes sense. Okay, APT. I'm getting a lot of APT, RNDR, and AOP. Let me do APT real quick, and then I'll do RNDR for you. APT. I don't even know what these coins are, to be honest. What does APT even stand for? Wait, do I not? Everyone, every time I do these lives, like, there's those new coins that, like, I've never, like... Because again, guys, I don't look at altcoins. I really don't care. Like, I will look at altcoins when dominance is dropping, but very rarely will I look at it. I have Algo. Give me a second. Is this not a thing? Yeah, it's for those Aptos, right? There we go. Oh, okay, that's just weird. I don't know why they have it like that. All right. So yeah, this is very new as well. Like a lot of these coins are new. I don't interesting, but okay. So looking at APT right now, area of let me draw my support resistance for you guys so you have a better understanding. There's your support, and that's your resistance. So I mean it's currently breaking out of range, right? We're using the exponential moving averages as support. The problem is with these new coins, like even zooming out of the chart, this is nice. This is actually really nice. Look at that. Let me show you guys something really cool. So you see on APT how we had this breakout range, resistance, then we dropped, then we consolidated. But look where APT bounced, right? We saw multiple tests of that level. Why? Why do we see so many tests of that level? Why this level specifically? Well, because old resistance becomes new support. We bounced off a perfect support zone, which was a daily time frame. And most of the altcoins all bounce, right? They all hit daily zones. They all bounce perfectly, and that's exactly what we were looking for. Now that we are entering this range, we just have to be very careful because personally, this is looking like a breakout. The only problem is the fact that it looks like we did get a liquidity grab right there. So I would be very careful shorting this until we get a clean retest on these exponential moving averages. But it has hit take profit perfectly though. Like if that was your question, this is where the move set started. Liquidity grab, and we hit take profit. Next bullish target, assuming that Aptos can break above 1260 or 1250, use this level as support, and that would be your next bullish target. Any break above that, and we would go back into price discovery mode where Aptos could definitely rip, right? Because again, this is a new coin. New coins, when they're in price discovery mode, it's very hard to kind of guess where exactly it's going to stop. That's why bull markets are so fun, right? When you enter a coin and it doesn't stop, it just keeps going. Like Solana. I mean, whatever you say about Solana, but that was, a very nice coin to be having. Okay, so Num is the only altcoin to buy right now. We can look at that. We can look at Num Protocol right now. I just want to quickly go over Gabriel's comment. RNDR and OP. I have OP right here for you. So, I mean, I've been watching OP for quite a while now because I know it's one of the more leveraged coins that a lot of people trade. But, I mean, even OP, like looking at OP right now, you can see that we've had a major resistance right here at 324. This is once again looking like a third test retest. And on the third test, mostly on a coin like this, price discovery mode, it can really rip. The deciding factor for us would of course be if we did break above this level and use it as support, only then would we can have that confirmation. If we did end up rejecting this level, having a triple top, which is very rare, you'll see triple top formation on the 4-hour time frame. But assuming it does, again, because we can't guess where the market's going, right? We just look at what the charts are telling us. And if, assuming we get that triple bottom, any break below this support level right here in terms of the 187, any clean break below that level, and OP will capitulate. It will drop extremely hard. So that's something to look at. Those are your targets if you want to, Gabriel, if you want to copy them. But 86 cents, major support, major consolidation, break above, and $3.24 is a major resistance. Anything in between this level right now is just a larger consolidation before the next leg towards the upside. And these things are easy to spot, right? So if assuming you see the exponential moving averages break and you see the fact that we're retesting a support like this, then you know it's going to drop, right? It's not rocket science. Like it's a lot easier to spot on a 4-hour time frame. The hourly is just messed up. 30 minutes is probably completely different too. That's why I don't bother with it. The only time I would suggest looking at the hourly time frame is if you're looking for an entry and you want to be exact, like to the exact dollar, then you can look for the entry, right? But otherwise, don't bother with it. Let's see. What else do we have? Why EMA instead of SMA? MDB, I personally like the moving average exponential. I've used it throughout the years, and I have used, the question always comes, why not the 50? Why not the 200? It's because I have used them, personally speaking. Everyone uses them. Every single person I know has them on their charts. I think it's defaulted at 50 or 200 rather. Like, to me, I like the 9 and 20 from a 4-hour perspective because the best example I can give you is on Hbar, right? Like, look at Hbar when I don't even know if this is this Hbar. Yeah, it is Hbar. Right, it looks weird, but anyways, look at Hbar on the 4-hour time frame while rejecting the exponential moving averages. Like, it was so perfect, right? Like this whole trade to the downside, this was probably the best indicator to have, because there's no point of looking for a buy until we broke that level. Now we broke the level, and now it's looking like for a trend reversal. The last time we broke a level on Hbar was down here at 0.03, and this is when I started making videos on Hbar. And I mentioned that Hbar is going to rip because we broke a major resistance, we tested out daily support, used the exponential moving averages as support, and we just laddered upwards. And it just continued all the way up. So I did mistake at short 88 at 34. Yeah, I would be very careful, Jimmy, shorting Cardano, if I'm being honest with you. Like, this really depends on the daily time frame right now for Cardano, because although everything else is breaking out, Cardano is lagging a little bit behind. What's your range? 34.06. Yeah, it's moved quite a bit. You entered right down here. Yeah, so word of advice, always look at the daily time frame before you enter, because you could have technically even entered on the exponential moving average if you're scalping it. So you could have saved yourself quite a bit of money, mostly if you're entering with size, right? But always look at the daily time frame and see where the EMAs are lining up, because these algorithm bots will always push it to the EMA and then reject. It always happens. It hits the exponential moving average and then it'll reject. That's the best case scenario for you. Okay, let's see. Top 5 tricks / mental notes of yours. Okay, my friend. It's not like, okay, I was gonna say like, okay. I mean, okay, how about this? I won't answer top 5 tricks, because, you know, I'm not it's not a gaming channel. It's top 5 no scopes. But what I'll do is, like, I'll give you my best word of advice as a beginner. Number 1, don't overtrade. The amount of times I've lost positions just by looking at the chart, staring at them all day, and hunting trades was my biggest sell. Number 2, cut your losses. If you're down 5, 10, 15% in your head mentally, you should have a hard stop. I saw a guy on Twitter, and he posted he shorted Bitcoin at 22.8. He was down 30%. The next day, he was down 78%. And now he's liquidated for over 150 grand. It really comes down to how big your ego is and how emotional you are, right? So, like, if you're someone that hates losing, then it's not for you. You need to learn how to lose, mostly when it comes down to trading. And the third tip I can tell you is don't listen to others on Twitter and YouTube specifically that are just preaching up. As a beginner, when I first started, I noticed a narrative in YouTubers and Twitter that everyone was doing the same thing and copying the same exact charts. So when I started trading, I would look for a short and I would enter the short, and then I would go on Twitter or YouTube, and my favorite YouTube dude was saying, "We're in the bull run. You're an idiot if you're shorting. We're going to the moon," right? And then I would be like, "Oh, damn. He thinks I'm closing. I'm an idiot." And I would be right. So it comes to the point where you need to get in the habit of looking at, I mean, again, it depends on what kind of trader you are, but looking at the current market and trusting your conviction. You guys have seen me enter a trade, and you guys have laughed too, because I will send a trade in Telegram, we'll be down 6% in like 30 seconds. Everyone will be like, what? You know what I mean? And then immediately after, 25% profit. It's because you get in the habit of when you enter a trade, you just know this is a loss. If you can start thinking like that, you'll be a little bit more profitable, because then you'll know, okay, I'm going to lose. And then it's like reverse psychology, right? If you know if you don't care about the trade in terms of money loss, because that's how you should be, right? You should only put what you're willing to lose. And if you're okay with that, then you're okay. Then you know long term you're going to be profitable, right? And that's my best advice to you is just be cautious when you enter a trade, because you can get liquidated extremely fast. And I have been liquidated many times. So it's just life. Like, you can learn from it. But yeah, those are my 5 tricks for you. Yes, Italian apple. That's correct. Don't underestimate stop loss also. And I've talked about stop loss in the last live stream, but talking about stop loss now as well is, like, when you're placing your stops, make sure you place them properly. And if it hits, you're out. That's the rule. You're out. You don't just magically start changing it, right? I've seen people like, it's funny, I've seen subscribers send me a trade and I'm like, okay, this is your stop loss. And they're like, okay, thanks, man. And then 2 days later, he's like, yeah, so I kind of moved it. And like, I'll be like, what? Like, I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? And they get liquidated and they're like, man, I shouldn't have moved it. And I'm like, yeah, you should just not touched it. But it happens, right? It's just everywhere happens. The market is slowed down. That's why it's short. Yeah, Jimmy, you got to be careful, man. That's what the market wants you to do, right? Mostly, and I'll always tell you this. My rule of thumb is never to enter a trade from 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours before the daily candle closes. Because not only are the FX markets closed during that time, for in terms of 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. there's no liquidity, but 6 p.m. is when markets open again, you start seeing volume come back into the market. 7 p.m. is when you see the daily move. A lot of traders literally just wait till the daily time frame and then they'll enter a position. So rule of thumb, guys, never trade 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Never, 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 never. That's your trading day. After 7 p.m., go at it. Go at it all night. Bitcoin's 24 hours. You have all night to trade. But do not enter a position 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. because I have been wrecked every single time entering a position because market will slow down. We'll be in an overbought range. I'll be like, this is great. And I'll get wrecked, right? So just never bother with it. But yeah. I mean, I don't want to do a live, like I don't want to trade live. Like we've already did it. We did it twice already. We banked hard. But this is not a place where I want to be trading. This is just a place I want to be watching. And I'll be scalping here and there. But I don't feel like scalping right now, right? Because I'm like, guys, like this was a spontaneous thing I did. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern, that's correct. Never, never, never trade 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. Mostly in crypto, I've realized it's just not worth it, man. Like you get wrecked way too many times. And like the amount of people right now that are probably shorting Ethereum and they're about to get wrecked again is funny. I wouldn't short Ethereum until we test at least the 15 or 1717. And even if we test that level, understand this is the third test. This is the third test. And on the third test, it's a breakout. 1787 would be my target for a short. And oh, guys, I'll be honest. If this thing just rips to 1787 only up, I am shorting. I will be shorting. I will ladder in my shorts all the way through because this wouldn't be sustainable at that point, right? It just wouldn't be sustainable. The only scary part is, of course, laddering in at that level is you can see the same thing happen from here. But this, of course, was after the drop. But now this is just like, it's very rare you'll just see straight up, right? Just up only. Like it's very, very rare. So I would be very careful. 10:45 here in the UK. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like time zones are, I'm in Canada, so my time zones are, you know, where you guys, you see the bottom, like I have 6:47 Eastern. I got my little calculator. But yeah, that's reality of trading, right? Is just like, find a time zone, in my opinion, that you guys like. Or, well, what I mean by that is find a time that you guys like. And I can't stress this enough. Sleep, right? Sleep is the biggest thing when you come down to trading because do not stay awake. Never sleep. Never, never, never have a position open and sleep, guys. Never do that because 9 out of 10 times you will be stop hunted. You will be liquidated. It's just not worth it. If you're going to trade, then stay up. The amount of times I've stayed up for 48 hours in a position, I will not sleep until that position closes. Or if it gets near my entry and I was wrong, I will try to get as close as I can to close it and then I'll close it. But do not, like, you know, just sleep, guys. It's just because you're going to trade worse. You're going to be emotional. And a lot of people will enter trades emotionally after they lose. I have subscribers that have done that. It's unfortunate. They have blown their accounts completely. If you lose a trade, don't enter another one. Don't increase the leverage. Just go outside. That's the best you can do. Yeah, see, yes, I slept and lost more than 7,000. It's a real example, right? Because I've done it. I've lost it's a ton short sleeping and leaving trades open. So be careful. But once again, am I a full-time trader? No, I'm actually not, XC. Like, I've talked about this before. I'm just, I do my normal corporate job, and I do this as a side thing. And, you know, I mean, it is technically a full-time thing if you think about it, because I post like 7 videos a day from like 8 a.m. all the way till now, like, or till midnight. But no, because I just wanted kind of a spot in my life where I had a routine. and this is my routine. I do my job, I log in, I do my Telegram stuff, I make you guys laugh here and there, I'll send my trades, and this is it. This is exactly what I wanted. So yeah, I'm not a full-time trader. I was a full-time trader, but it's not, like, to me personally, it just wasn't the ideal sort of situation I wanted. Because I didn't sleep. I think for me it was just a lack of sleep, and then I got really big. And by big I mean like fat, bro. I was ordering pizza all day. I'd be sitting there munching on my pizza. I'd be up like 30% of my trades, and I'd be like, all right, flatbread too. You know what I mean? Like it just turned into like, yeah, it was just sad. I don't know. It just, like I said, I mean, when you start making that, like, to an extent, you know, quite a bit, and I'm not even gonna lie, like even $50, you can get quite a bit of pizza, you know. So like at that point I was just like, yeah, I'll add on to that. Yeah, so it's just bad. Let's see. Yeah, I know. I don't sleep, if that's what you're asking me, because like I do videos a lot, and I do these live streams a lot, and I'll trade a lot, but I've just made a schedule around my life that, you know, I have my little iPad, I carry it everywhere I go. I make videos in the car. I make videos, like, guys, you don't understand. I will always make sure you guys have an update throughout the day. Like, no matter what I'm doing, trust me, the areas I made videos in, you'll be like, wow. But like, just because, like, nothing more I hated than when I was in a position. This is when I was a beginner though. But when I was in a position, and my favorite YouTuber, the guy I used to watch, like, in just general, right? I don't have a specific, but like just in general, when I was in a position and as a beginner, and I really needed that, you know, that comfort when I'm in a losing trade, like I just need that comfort, like, and he wouldn't make the video. It was so bad because I'd be sitting there like, I'm gonna close it. But yeah, no, I will continue making videos for you guys. I try my best to work around everyone's time frames. You know, when I'm going to bed at 10:30 after Hbar, that's when people are waking up for Asia, right? I have people all over the world that watch my videos, and like they have their morning breakfast and they watch my video. So it goes both hand in hand, right? So that's why I do it. When exactly to execute on one okay, yeah, so let me talk about executing trades. Like that's a great question, and I want to talk about that real quick. So, I mean, I made a quick short video on the trade that we actually took on Ethereum, but I will show you exactly why we executed it and the reason we did. So looking at Ethereum, we can do the 4-hour perspective for this. I mean, I'll show you guys both perspectives actually, but so there's a few I'll talk about 2 trades I did specifically, and we all banked off them, right? Everyone in the Telegram made money off these trades. Everyone in the live channel made money off these trades because we sent them perfectly. Number 1, we entered a buy position on Ethereum at 14.15. It was right down here. So the reason we entered a buy position on Ethereum specifically was, number 1, RSI was non-existent. Like, I have never seen this thing so low, right? We had straight capitulation in the markets. Number 2, exponential moving averages, we were way too over leveraged. And what I mean by that is, look at this huge gap that was right here. Usually EMAs, the candlesticks hug the EMAs as they're following downwards, right? We saw that on Hbar. But when you have a gap like this means that the market is truly in oversold conditions. Number 3, we were testing a daily support level, a major daily support level. Once we broke out of that range, I waited, right? I waited for this candlestick specifically. You guys saw me on the bullish candlestick. I waited for it to close, then we entered the trade. As soon as we entered, what happened to Ethereum? We dropped, right? We dropped to 1401. A lot of people were like, whoa, what's going on? But the very next candlestick, we started laddering upwards. My take profit level was on the exponential moving average, right here around the 1430 range. 1430 to 1435, I think we got out. That was my reason for the trade, was because I knew I played the exponential moving average. I knew it was going to act as a resistance. And the first green candle we saw after a larger pullback on a daily support, this was our execution. That was our take profit. That was a perfect trade. Now, 2 days later, we entered a second position on our live, right? We were doing the same thing we were doing. I was actually live trading at the time. We were just talking and chilling. And I noticed something on Ethereum. That Ethereum was being weird. Number 1, we retested this area of resistance here at 1470. And to be fair, just for the sake of teaching, This wasn't here before. So again, I drew it that day, but I'll draw it again so you guys see. So we retested this area of resistance. In the Telegram, I mentioned the 20 EMA, we have to break above it in order for us to have a short squeeze. We didn't. The very next day, you guys remember Saturday, I sent that little sad Pepe because we saw a bearish engulfing candle, but we didn't break below 1421, which was a deciding factor. Then we had the retest. What happened after? We broke above our 9 exponential moving average, then we retested the 20, and look what happened to Ethereum on the 4 hour. We started to use the EMAs as support. That's a bullish indicator. So then on the hourly, I was explaining it to you guys, and I was like, okay, looking at Ethereum on the hourly, I did this exact thing. That is what I did. I drew it, and I'm like, clearly this is an area of resistance, and we were currently right here. We were trading on this candlestick, and I'm like, Ethereum's gonna break out because this is a third retest. Then I stopped. I literally entered the position live, and I'm like, okay, we're on. And then I couldn't even finish my thought because then within 30 seconds, Ethereum ripped. And our take profit level on that trade was at 1518. Why? Because this is where the move set started. This is where Ethereum dropped. This is where it came back. And this is where my exit to take out. Yeah, sure. Honestly, that could have been an insane profitable trade if I left it open. But why would I do that? Right? If I have a plan, that's the number one mistake people make is if you have a plan, then stick to it. You don't need more. There's always going to be more. That's just greed, right? And be like, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and then you start counter trading yourself. But you guys will notice I haven't entered a position since that one. Other than the ones that I YOLO'd today with you guys, right? Like I even send them. I was just scalping Ethereum on the 4 hour. Like I was just enjoying my time. I would enter the position. 30 seconds later, I'd be profit close it. Some of my subscribers did that as well. Congrats. Like it was such an easy moment to make money because the narrative was banking stocks were crashing. Volume was in the market. We were looking at AGR trade. Life was good. That's the perfect situation you want to be in. But that's pretty much why I do it. Yeah, Aussie here. Yeah, Wayne, honestly, that's sick. Australia, that's pretty cool. Little dump. Yeah, not really. I mean, like, you know, Bitcoin, like, it really isn't. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where a lot of traders are going to get trapped. Because the daily candle is going to be closing in exactly 4 minutes. And that's not a bearish daily. That's a scary daily. That's a big boy. So, again, be careful when you guys are trading that. Yeah, why don't you wait till it hits the EMA again? So, great question. What do you mean by that? From like a support aspect of it or a resistance aspect of it? The reason why, if you're asking me, when it hits the EMA, why don't I just open another position, was because 9 out of 10 times, if it breaks the EMA, you're getting wrecked by a lot, right? So look at that. Like in terms of a perfect example, we were retesting the exponential moving averages resistance. Let's say even here, we entered a buy position on Bitcoin at 22.8, hit the resistance, and we're out. The reason we don't guess the market after that is because we're not trying to guess is the exponential moving average going to break or not, because then you get wrecked. We just, the original test, same thing, guys. Look at the same exact example, right? The original test, the first test. Okay, I had a moment there. The first test you see on these drops, look at the gap that was created on, look, right? So Bitcoin had a huge drop, right? Everyone's panicking. Look at the gap that was created. You don't enter right away. You wait till a daily support, enter on the break. So enter on this level right here, hit the resistance, and you're out of the trade. You do not enter again. Because I can't begin to explain the amount of times people will enter on that trade and it'll drop again, right? You just don't get caught. Always the original entry on the gap. So as soon as you see that gap and then you enter the daily, do not wait until we hit the level. I don't care if it's $5, $10, like wait until the level is tested, because a lot of times what will happen is beginners will enter a trade maybe here and they'll be like, okay, it's just going to hit this level again and we'll be fine. Then it'll hit here, and maybe it'll hit here on the third time, and on the fourth time it dumps. So like that's why I always tell you wait until the daily time frame is tested before you do anything crazy. When you're trading above, I'm a little oh, you mean as a support zone? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can definitely do that, but again, that comes down to over trading, right? This is again like a kind reminder, like this is just an indicator. right? It's not a plan. It's just, yeah, if we're using the exponential moving average as support, it's a confluence. Like I just showed you why I entered that trade. It was one of 3 confluences. But technically speaking, I know people that scalp the 9 and 20 only, right? They wait, but they've mastered it, right? Like people like me that have been using this indicator for a very long time, we know when a fake out is and when it's being used. But yeah, technically speaking, you can, every time it hits the EMA, you can bounce, but only on the 4 hour, only on the 4 hour, guys. I can't stress that enough. Only use it on the 4 hour, because on the hourly, it will break every time. Why don't you wait? You can, and that's what I'm saying. MDB, you can. I've done it. That's scalping, right? We've entered positions like that. We have scalped, but the danger of scalping on once it's retesting is what happens when it breaks. That's the danger part. Because if it breaks, you're wrecked, right? And that's the same way. Both buy and sell perspective is why I don't do it. I very rarely will send a scalp as soon as we hit the 20, but that'll be on the downtrend, right? So like, this was a perfect trade right here. We saw a huge downtrend. We played the move to the upside. We could have shorted it, but this was on the Saturday. I have a rule, never trade on weekends. So yeah, you could have technically shorted the 20 as soon as it hit the bearish, and then continued. You could have done that too. It's just an example though, right? You can do whatever you feel like it, but that's just personally, I just have rules that I like to follow. I don't like going over, mostly weekend trading, man. It's just how you get liquidated. But yeah. All right, 51 minutes. I am gonna call it here because, you know, nobody wants to watch a live stream for 3 hours. But you don't get me because you're a short cat. I'm confused. Like I said, if your question is why I'm not, if I'm only shorting, like, are you saying like I'm a permanent bear? I'm confused. I was focusing on the green candles above. If you're looking at it from this perspective, like, again, from a shorting perspective, if you want to use the EMAs as resistance, then you can enter a short for that open position to the downside. As a bullish perspective, if we break above the exponential moving averages, then yes, you'll be waiting for it to hit support and then ladder your way upwards. Now, the rule set I have is if I'm in a position and it's hit that from like a short, like for example, a bearish perspective, I'm closing that trade. I'm not going to enter again unless we break out. Once we break out, I can look for the buy. So that's what we did, right? We entered on this and we entered on the breakout. So we played that both times perfectly. But yeah, if that makes sense to you. But again, guys, I can't stress this enough. Practice, practice, practice. Fairdesk has simulated trading. Open an account. Link is in the bio. If you guys are on any other platform, of course, if you like it, that's fine. But with Fairdesk, if you click on the link, you get VIP. So that's lower commissions. And that's why we scalp. Because I'm not paying fees to Bybit and Binance. And their fees are wild. So that's why I use it. Exactly. MDB, that's just preference, right? I feel like you're getting confused. That's just my preference. I close it immediately because I don't want to end up holding the trade. Because you don't want to guess that it's going to drop, right? Because the first test, if it hits it, in this perspective, yeah, it would have been a really profitable trade. But there's times where it'll hit it, reject, and the next candlestick, it'll break. So I only play the initial hit. That's it, and I'm out. I don't care if it's how much profit, because even if we entered, for this example, on this short at 20,800 down to 20.5, even on 10x leverage, you can make a lot. But yeah, that's just my example. Yeah, no problem. I get you. But yeah, okay, guys, I'm out. Enjoy. Thank you guys so much for coming. I will post Doge in 45 minutes. I'm gonna get water. But if you learned anything, like I said, thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming, and have a good day.